共に暮らす彼らは兄弟ではない。
全然届かないよね。手紙、ハウスを出て行って誰一人よこさないじゃない。
The symbolism of the Promised Neverland. This is going to be a video that is going to be quite different from what we usually do. To start off, I have to give the synopsis of what the Promised Neverland is essentially about. So if you haven't watched the first season, then and you don't want spoilers, probably this is the best place to click off. The Promised Neverland is a story about kids in this orphanage where they had this guardian, their quote-unquote mama, the person that's supposed to take care of them. By the age of 12, they have to leave the place. Super smart kids. The place looks picturesque. Everything seemed amazing until we saw what was lurking behind the scenes. Behind this thin veneer that we saw of peace and civility was demons. No other way to say it. Literal demons that were basically using these kids as free-range chickens, for lack of better terms. Like, they saw these kids as chicken nuggets. They were trying to breed these kids so that they can grow up and have that right consistency, that right tenderness. The kids came on and they had these theories. They found out after one of their siblings, adoptive siblings, was taken away and they thought they were adopted. Then they found out there were demons that are actually eating these kids. And that's what began this entire sequence of events, where the three of them, Emma, Ray, and Norman, the three main characters, all around the age of 11, trying to figure out a way out of this farm, figure out a way out of this field, Grace Field. They go through trials and tribulations on their way out. Norman gets captured and all these things. But yeah, that's basically a quick summary of what happened in season 1. So the first half of this video is going to be manga spoiler free. So if you watch the first season of the anime, in my opinion, that's the only season that came out, then you're good.
This is the perfect time to take a pause. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You can comment later. You can share after the video, but like, subscribe, enjoy.
So let's jump into it. The symbolism of Promised Neverland. To me, when you saw the series, it seems innocent at first, but the children were the embodiment of innocence, and the demons being the embodiment of adulthood, adults. The children being taken away before reaching the age of 12, which is quite interesting because that's before teenage years, before puberty years. So they get taken away into the adult world where they're exposed to other adults, and now they have to leave behind the remnants of their childhood, leave behind their innocence and all this, thus them being eaten, the metaphor of them being eaten. It's all quite fascinating how the author drew this, and we saw how Emma, Ray, and Norman, how even though they were smart for kids. We saw when Sister Chrome came and she was stronger than them. For better terms, she was the Homelander to them. She was stronger, better, faster, right? It was nothing but awe. After that, we saw how Mother or Mama, how she was there to make sure that they were shielded enough from the adult world, and they were shielded enough from what was in reality happening behind the doors, basically them getting eaten or them getting exposed to the adult world. She was there making sure everything was perfect, and her keeping track of where all the kids were. The big gesture of how the parental figure or the guardian of the person is supposed to make sure that her receiver, if I've said that right, is doing what they're supposed to when they're supposed to. So how in the children versus adult world, as a kid, the parent knows the kid goes to school. After school, they go to whatever they're doing. They go to a friend's house. They know all that's happening. So that's the symbolism of the radar that she had in her pocket, which was really fascinating. But at the same time, it was also to show and exert the control that she had over them. So it was quite fascinating how they did it. Initially, they weren't sure whether she actually had things to track them, right? But when they found out, they were like, oh wow, because they always thought it was a superpower that their mom had, but it was not. It was just a thing that she used to exert her control over her kids. So that was quite fascinating, and she is also the gateway for them to the adult world. She relinquishes control and gives her kids over to the adults, quote unquote demons. So the mother is the middleman to the world, but at the same time, if the mother does not prepare her kids to to go into the adult world and succeed is a reflection of the mother. So it was quite fascinating. And even this one is, if the kids get into the adult world, she is given props and like she's applauded, like you were a good mother and you got them to the level that we wanted to get them to. All right, so from starting from here, anime only, you can click off. I hope one day we get to see season 2 of the anime. If there is a season 2, hopefully we will get a season 2. From here on outwards is nothing but manga spoilers.
私の可愛い子供たち。
So, to jump right into it, I'm gonna assume everyone has read and finished the manga. So, yeah. After Norman came back and we found him out, now he has been jaded. Now he has been corrupted by the adult world. He is no longer the Norman of old, and he sees the world as it is. He no longer has that luxury of seeing the world for sunshine and rainbows like Emma did. He saw the world as it is. It's not sunshine and rainbows. Like, you will get stomped, and it's not a pleasant sight. Like, Norman had to lead these other kids. He was now no longer Norman, just the chill, kind Norman. Like, now he knew adulthood was a scam, and like, it was not something to be looking forward to. So he had to figure out how to sort that situation out, which led Norman to the conclusion of he had to take down the entire organization that is the human farms. And the human farms, like where you see the kids and like the quote-unquote premium kids and non-premium kids being force-fed, that could be a symbolism for capitalism. Like capitalism, like you could see how that system represents what capitalism is. It force feeds these kids even without their permission. Like it wants them to be fattened, it wants them to be lazy, it wants them not to be able to think for themselves, right? And keep on going. So like, it was a really interesting metaphor that like the author spin. How I wish they had a good second season. And I don't know, like out of all the characters, Norman is goated. Norman and Ray, they're goated. Ray, I mean, the sacrifice he did for them to escape the first time when he cut off his own ear. He did a Picasso right there. The streets would never forget. Anyway, that has been our video. Let us know if you like this kind of video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Bums out.